Senator Mark Wayne Mullin, Republican of Oklahoma. Sir, can you describe for me what you think the scope and scale is of the future of Turning Point USA under this new world that we're living in post the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, Dana, thank you. Erica has made this very clear. She's going to make it 10 times bigger. And that's evident. You see the tremendous outreach for new chapters. On September 10th, there was 9,000 campus, college campus chapters. There was 1,100 high school chapters. Today, there's over 62,000 requests for new Turning Point USA chapters. And so for us, all of us that were friends with Charlie, that were friends of Turning Point USA, it's not just carrying on his legacy, is carrying on his message. Turning Point USA is his legacy, carrying the tradition of taking it to the campuses, speaking with a clear perspective, talking about Christian values, talking about family traditional values, talking about truths in politics, and giving the opposite viewpoints an open mic to openly debate in a safe and respectful environment is what Charlie wanted to do. And reaching the generation, the younger generation, the generations that politicians like myself walked away from, and Charlie had a vision for. And so carrying on that message is what all of us are committed to, and what Erica has challenged all of us to do. And we look forward to living up to that challenge.
You just look at that crowd there in Minneapolis, and there's many more to come as these campus tours are going to get well underway with guest hosts like Michael Knowles, who I got to know Michael Knowles' secret. That guy doesn't age a day. He is
no, he doesn't.
An incredible. It's kind of incredible.
It kind of makes you feel bad about yourself, doesn't it? It's like, how is that possible?
I want to know what is his secret. Maybe he will send me a note, and I would love to find out. I want to ask you about this as well, because yesterday President Trump designated Antifa as a domestic terror organization, and the press secretary described it this way.
Something the president campaigned on, because we have seen a rise in violence perpetuated by Antifa. It's gone widely uncovered by many in the legacy media. It also went completely ignored by the previous administration, not anymore. We will also be, most importantly, looking at who is funding Antifa and who is funding these other violent left-wing groups that we've seen perpetuate so much crime and mayhem across our country.
There was pushback from Democrats. This from Benny Thompson. He said this, that designating Antifa, which has no defined organizational structure or leadership, as a domestic terrorist organization is not only incorrect, it serves no purpose other than an excuse for the Trump administration to stifle dissent, investigate anyone or any group they don't like, punish their enemies, and potentially label any American they want as a terrorist. How do you see it?
You know, Thompson's flat wrong. Antifa is an organization. That's why they have a name, Antifa. That's why they organize and they're what we consider agitators. You know, there's a fine line between protest and even hateful protest versus violence. Antifa has been known for quite some time of creating that antagonizing event that turns it from a protest to violence, and they're everywhere. So how are they not organized when they claim to be Antifa? Somebody's organizing it. Somebody is sending out the information. Somebody is funding it. Somebody's providing them gear, because they're dressed a lot of the same. They seem to show up and they do the same thing. So for Thompson to say that, he's flat wrong. He's ignoring the facts. Antifa has been around. We have been talking about it for a long time, and the president is going after the violence. For anybody that wants to say that it is stifling free speech, no, we're allowing them to have free speech. Yesterday, when I came back to Washington, D.C., out in front of Heritage, there was protests going on. It was peaceful protests. I didn't like what they had to say. I didn't like their signs, but they weren't creating violence. Antifa creates that violence, and we've all known it for a long time. And what the president is doing here is he's rooting out the violence. Why is our streets burning? You know, there was a clear picture between protest and vigils between what happened with Charlie Kirk and when something happens to the left that they don't like. And we're not burning streets. We're not burning buildings. We're not burning cars. We're not rioting in the streets, and Antifa isn't running around with helmets, with gears, or with gear, and with pepper spray. They are what you saw was two different types of protest and free speech being I guess, portrayed. And what the president is doing here is he's saying enough is enough. And by looking at Antifa and designating them as a domestic terrorist organization, we'll be able to track the money of who's funding this organization, and we'll find the organization chart that Thompson says doesn't exist. He'll have to retract those words before long.
Mark Wayne Mullin, Senator from Oklahoma, thank you. Have a good day, sir.